What's up, guys? Ivan here with getivan.com, and in this video we're going to be talking about how to host an HTML site for fractions of pennies. And yes, you read that right. So, quick backstory, I designed WordPress sites for a little more than a few years, and then I learned about static HTML sites. And once I learned about object storage, which is how one of the better ways of hosting static HTML, it totally changed the way that I started setting up my websites. And so this is one of a couple of methods that I use now. I also use Tumblr, so that's another video for another time. But in this method, we're going to be getting set up with Cloudflare DNS and CDN, Microsoft Azure Object Storage, and then configuring a basic HTML theme. So the benefit, of course, is that since there's no server and we're doing our hosting our website through object storage, then there's no security issues. There's no database, so there's even less security issues, really. Um, and the sites are super fast, highly performant, super secure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and of course, super cheap. Um, so in this example, I'll just be getting set up on some random domain that I parked it's a while back. And if you guys decide that this is like way too many steps and you just want to go the fully managed route, then I will talk at the end about something that I offer that's fully managed. But if you're going the do it yourself route, this is about as cheap as it gets when it comes to how to host your own website for, as little as possible. So again, if you want to do it yourself, this is the way to go. And if you decide, that's too much trouble for me, then I'll let you know how you can get it done a little more easily. If you decide you want to just pay someone to manage it for you. So first step, we need to point our domain to Cloudflare DNS and CDN. So when you make your Cloudflare account, you're going to you're going to click on that button to add a site. And as you do that, in this case, I'm going to add this domain I have called newsnoah.com. And then as it takes us to the prompts, we're going to click on free site down here. And Cloudflare is necessary as a DNS management portal because to it allows us to proxy the traffic through Cloudflare, and basically they act as a CDN, a content delivery network, and a security buffer, and has a whole lot of benefits. Pretty much, you can use Cloudflare's uh, as a traffic provider for free. They will manage bandwidth for your site for free. Excuse me. It's one of the perks of Cloudflare, even at the free plan. So once you get to this stage, it'll ask you for DNS records. Just click continue. And then it'll give you these name servers. So you want to copy those and go over to your domain name provider. And when you click to edit your domain name, you'll go to you'll find the area where it says to change your name servers. Click on that. And if this is going too quickly for you at any time, feel free to pause it and just do it step by step. And if you have any questions, you can contact me. And if it's too slow, click the cog in the lower right and bump it up to 1.5x because I do want you to get through it quickly. So that'll process and give it a minute to propagate. So let me skip ahead. So when you click finish there at the bottom, it'll take you to some quick start stuff, and it should have automatic HTTPS rewrites turned on, and you do want to have it set to um, automatic redirect to HTTPS here. Always use HTTPS. And so those are a couple of more recent features. You used to have to be able to do a rewrite rule. So we'll have to test that and make sure that that's just see how they roll with that now. You don't need to do automatic minification like you could, but depending on your solution, it may already be minified. So like you can always come back here and experiment with this by turning this on and off under performance optimization. So you can just go ahead and just click save on that. Broadly, you can leave that on. And that should be pretty much it. So we should be able to click finish there. And let's see. Did it detect it yet? Let's see. Let's check it. And let's refresh this page. Yeah, so it's already detecting it. It's good to go. And that's that. So now it's pointing, and what we want to do is come over here to DNS, and this is where we'll be able to add records to get it to work properly with Microsoft Azure. So our next point here, don't worry about all this stuff. It might just take a second to propagate. So next point here is we need to start getting records prepared for Microsoft Azure. So you want to sign up to Azure, and once you're in there, then under the services section, you'll go to storage accounts, and under storage, you will click create. Create a storage account, and in this section, you'll just kind of select whatever your subscription is that manages your billing. You might have to put your credit card in to make sure that your billing's good to go. And don't worry about the cost. They literally, at the minimum, they will bill you a penny per month. But actually, the cost of a really simple HTML site, like a small site, is fractions of a penny. So you'd have to make a lot of pages to exceed a penny per month. So it's pretty awesome. And under resource group, you can create new and call it storage or something like that. Now for this account name, I'm going to name it something akin to what the domain name is. If it's like a really generic name, then you might have to name it to put like a 0 in there or something like that, newsnoah.com or something. And then for region, I like to do something near me here in DFW. I like to do South Central Texas or South Central USA. You can do whatever you want. And then let's see here, performance. You can just do standard, recommended for most scenarios. Like you're not serving traffic from here. It's just going up into the CDN. So, and then under the redundancy section, you can do GRS. I prefer to do ZRS. Like basically, LRS is cheaper, a little bit more, but it's you're talking pennies. So a small amount of redundancy is what I like to do, and you're not serving from it, so it's literally just serving up into it's just ensuring that if something goes wrong with one data center, then there's like a backup. That's all it is. So I prefer to do ZRS, and then we go to. I don't think we actually need to set any of this other stuff, but let's go ahead and click next. And let's see, hierarchical namespace. You could enable SFTP. Let's see here, enable the file system. This is kind of new. You want to make sure that it's hot storage, not cold. But the rest of this should be default, even though it seems like they've changed it a little bit recently. Enable large file shares. We go to networking, data protection. Yeah, so you could mess with some of this soft delete stuff, but I wouldn't worry about it. Just go ahead and click review and create, and it'll validate. You can click create, and then it'll go to deploy. Let's see. So it'll take a second to get finished. Let's skip ahead to that point. Okay, so once it says deployment succeeded up there, you can go to the resource, and then you'll get a menu kind of like this. And under, let's see, I'm going to change all this. So if by the way, so if anyone decides they want to like come in here and mess with some of these access credentials, just be aware it's all going to get changed at some point. But so this is the point where we kind of get things ready to and configure them with the DNS settings over in Cloudflare. So let me see here. Let's look for the section that says static site. They changed the menu taxonomy here, so just keep that in mind. Some of the locations change, but the settings are pretty much the exact same. So under static site for under data management, you can find static site, enable that. Index document, we'll just call that index.html. And then the error path, we'll also call that index.html, because if there's a 404 error, then we just want to send them to this homepage anyways. So you can change this if you want to in the future, but we'll save that, make it simple. Now we've got this little thing here, which we'll be using for DNS settings. So now the static site is technically live. If we were to upload into the object storage, then we could actually have a live site at this endpoint here. So this is kind of like a website that we've created in object storage. or something that has the ability to act as a web page. So, okay. Then we're going to go to, we're going to go to, should be networking. Yeah, networking. And then we're going to go to custom domain. And under here, we're going to put the domain name. So we're going to go, you always want to use www. I don't think you actually cannot use www in conjunction with Azure. So something to keep in mind. You want to use the subdomain. There's a lot of reasons why, but in this case, we're just going to roll with it. Okay, so we're going to say newsnoah.com. And then we're going to look at these records. You have to read this second one. This is what you have to do to validate that domain. So what you have to do is you have to go as verify. You have to copy this. And then, let me think here. Is it as verify? Yeah, you have to go as verify like this. And you go over to your DNS settings, and it should be a Cname record. Let me double check. Yeah, Cname record. So you go to add record, go to Cname, and then you paste that as verify in. Make sure it looks like this. And then the target needs to be this chunk over here, but not the blob core. You want it to be the web core like this. And so then you paste this in here. And you want to make sure, let me see, I got to check my note. You want to make sure this is, yeah, DNS only. So you uncheck this right here. So when it's proxied like this, the traffic is going through Cloudflare. So when you actually have the record that's going to the site, then that's what you want. You want it to be proxied. But in this case, this is just trying to validate from a DNS standpoint for the object storage. So we just want it to be a record so that nothing like is in between. So we'll click save. And then let's see, we need to do another record, www record proxied. So in this case, we also want to create a Cname. So add record, go to Cname, and then we'll say www, and we'll paste the same string in, the web core string, except we won't want to do the as verify version. My apologies. It's not the same. One sec. So let's sorry, I'm going a little bit out of order. Let's go ahead and use indirect Cname validation and click save. And if it says success, then it's good to go. Like if you do it too quickly, just wait a second for the records to propagate, and then it should work. But after you've added this one right here, it should validate after a couple minutes or something. So our custom domain name now points to that object storage region, right? And under let's see here, static website, we want to take this right here and we want to create a Cname, which would be over here like this. So under www, you paste this one, and you do want to make sure that there's none of these should be HTTPS like this. It should just be like this address. You see, none of those lines or anything, and make sure that's proxied through. So let's go ahead and save. Yeah, so that worked properly. Apologies, I got a little bit out of order there, but it doesn't really matter as long as you get those things done. Like it's good to go. And oftentimes, what I will do is, now this may have been corrected, but what I've had to do for a long time is creating a record, going to this internal IP for Cloudflare, so that it would allow me to set instructions for page rules. So they may have corrected that, but I go ahead and do it as a force of habit. So I go for the root, and then I go boom to the internal IP. And if you open the Cloudflare FAQ somewhere in here and look for that, then you'll find it. That's where I found it. And you want that proxied, so I click save there. And what that basically does is it allows your root domain name to be proxied through, because see, these right here are, this one right here is your subdomain, your www, that is we've created a Cname to point to Azure. But let's say that you wanted to handle redirects. Well, normally, unless they've corrected it in Cloudflare, normally what you'd have to do is create an A record for the root, which is just newsnoah.com without the www, and you have to point it to Cloudflare somehow. Like, obviously the name servers are pointed there, but without that A record in the past, you had to make sure that it was pointed to the internal domain. So that's something that I do and it took me a while to figure that out at one point, to make sure that I had the ability to do redirects from the root to the subdomain. So if that's really confusing, just roll with it. Like, it works. Okay, so okay, so this is basically ready to go. Let me check my notes real quick. So we got that A record, we've got that as verify, we've got the www. Then this would be right here, the page rule that I would normally do. And let's actually test it first before we add that, because it kind of seems like they may have corrected it with some of those automations that they turn on. So we should be able to open up News Noah, and it should go to just like nowhere. Let's see, newsnoah.com. It may not even go anywhere at all, but okay, so we'll wait till we get an index file. So now at this point, we've kind of configured the object storage and Cloudflare to basically be operational. But what we need to do is upload an HTML theme file, that index.html file, up into this Cloudflare, this object storage now, in order for a page to propagate. You see, it's just kind of propagating there now, because it can't go anywhere. So it's just going to give us hey, we didn't find anything on the other side. But you can see that it's properly routed through Cloudflare, and even the HTTPS seems to be configured properly. So that's encouraging. Okay, so next up, let's talk about HTML stuff. So that what we just did, really, that was the easy part. It may be confusing in various steps, but once you get the hang of it, it is pretty simple. It's really just a few records, and point your domain to Cloudflare, set your records, configure it properly in the object storage, and at that point, like, the harder part, the more difficult part is you have to actually have a website to put up. So you can go to html.com/resources/free HTML templates, and there's a bunch of HTML templates here. And some of them are interesting because they bring you to like CodePen, like this one brings you to CodePen. And you can kind of see the site down here and then sort of change certain features. Like if you wanted to change some of that on-page text, you can really easily see using CodePen how that looks. So that really, though, could take you hours to learn how to learn if you wanted to do it that way. A better route that I recommend is getting a program like Bootstrap Studio. This one, last time I checked, yeah, it's $60 for life. And I think it lets you put it on a few PCs or something, but this is a fantastic program, and it allows you to have a WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get, sort of drag and drop editor. So if you really wanted to get into this, you could really build your site yourself using a program like this. This is one of the things that I use. Another thing you could do is just go to Fiverr and just type in HTML up there in the bar, and just find some guy. There's a bajillion guys who do HTML templates, and just hire one of these guys to do decide what you want to do for your website, and then configure an HTML template, and pay them. There's people charging all kinds of prices for all kinds of styles and what have you. And so you might check that out. And there's so many people who do that. It would be really easy to do. Just have them configure it for you, and then you can upload it yourself. So you would probably spend more money and more time just getting the site the way you like it. But then the thing is, with this hosting that I've turned you guys onto, this is going to save you hundreds of dollars in the short term and thousands of dollars in the long term, because the hosting fee is basically non-existent. Also, and this is where I mentioned earlier, I offer a template that's based on something that I built in Bootstrap Studio, actually. And if you click up here in the drop down, if you go to template.getivan.com, you can check out a lot of ways that you can sort of rinse my template. And so you have to contact me if you want to grab that. and you can look here at some of these concepts. They're really simple. Basically, just put your logo in the middle and change your color scheme 1 to 3 colors, and it's really simple. It's just kind of your service offerings, maybe some prices, call to action for a phone number, or maybe contact. So that's kind of the way I prefer to do things. And to give you guys an example of an actual client site, let me see here. FMC Drywall is one that I've done this kind of style and that I don't mind sharing. So you can see it's really clean, really simple. And this is just a single page site. It just scrolls to, oops, that one calls. It just scrolls to different parts of the page, and it's pretty easy to do. So if you're interested in getting my help with that, then just let me know. But otherwise, there's a lot of things you can do. You can get a program yourself. You can, get some of the free templates out there and try to configure them. You can hire someone to do it. And in this case, for my example, I'm just going to use a feed burner HTML to configure this. So I actually have not tested embedding the feed burner thing, so let's see if it even works. Like, I hope it will work. Let's see. Use as a widget. Let's try this. Let's see. Copy and paste. Okay, so this is just the HTML. So if you have any kind of RSS feed, and you can use FeedBurner, I believe, to embed something like this. So I've never tried this, so let's experiment with it. You should be able to just open up a Notepad++, just a text file, paste in your code, and then let's see here. Let's save this as, and let's go here. Let's save this as, is there a way to save this as HTML? I mean, it's really just an extension. There's nothing to the actual section here. I saw it earlier. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, I mean, you don't actually need. You can just save it as a text file and then change the file extension. I'm gonna call this index.html. Save it here, and then you want to. You can manage your files inside of Microsoft Azure, but I highly recommend that you go and grab CyberDuck, because it makes managing things really easy with this kind of client. So go ahead, and I would recommend downloading that. And just in case you're just not at all interested in CyberDuck, let's see here. It's a way to do this from the interface, which I don't even remember. Let's see, containers. Yeah, so under containers, you should be able to go to web and then upload, and then select your file here. And then let's go to sandbox, index.html, boom, upload. That might even be the first time I have ever uploaded a file using the web interface. So I'm surprised that I was able to figure that out that quickly. But yeah, it's pretty easy to do it here, but I also like to manage things through this CyberDuck. So with CyberDuck, you can come in here and go to add a bookmark, and once you have your little bookmark here, then you can kind of configure this like this. So in CyberDuck as an FTP client, what you can do is you can add that blob core address that we saw earlier when you go to, where is it? Let's see, was it static site? No, it was somewhere else. Let's see, networking, custom domain, private endpoint. No, it was, let's just try access keys. Well, it was somewhere around here, blob inventory static site. There's, in any case, you can kind of see it's blob.core.windows.net. So you can easily just type that out. That I don't think that's changed. And then it's pretty much just like the address of your little object, right? Object storage region. So in my case, it would be news Noah. You just put that there, create a nickname. The storage account is just, in this case, it'd just be news Noah. And then for your access keys, you go to right here to access keys, and you go to show keys, and you can just copy one of those keys and paste it into this section. And you actually want to type the path here, /money sign web, and then you should be able to connect. You can close that and then just double click the shortcut there. And CyberDuck is neat because you can basically stack a bunch of sites into the client, and it makes it really easy to log into a variety of sites with this method. But anyways, let's go ahead and use the web client because that's actually just as well. So, but I don't think you can upload bigger files, and you may not be able to upload. Let's see, can you upload folders? I doubt that you can. That might be one reason that I was using the FTP for a while, because a lot of the times you have to be able to drag folders over, and this client may not allow you to do that. Yeah, so in terms of setting up a website, that's really a whole other video, because you would want to get a site map and have other things in there, upload your little favicon. And so that's really a whole other thing in terms of building a full site. The purpose of this video is just to kind of show you guys how to host it cheaply. So I'm going to go ahead and I've uploaded that into there. So now we should be able to refresh this page, and maybe something will propagate. It may not. Let's see. Let me see what this looks like. Not support HTTP. Okay. Let me skip ahead here. Okay, so the problem there was that even though we had told Cloudflare to always use HTTPS, the problem is that their system did not switch us to full. So what you need to do is go to SSL TLS overview on the sidebar here, and then it'll be set to flexible. Just go ahead and click full, make sure that's clicked through, and then it'll work properly. Not sure why they did that there. That should be default once you set those things. So when we refresh the page, you can see it says boom, enter your email address delivered by FeedBurner. That was just a HTML widget. What I wanted it to do is to put the feed on the page, but I've never done that before. So let me skip ahead and see if I can figure that out. This one looks like I should have been under Buzz Boost, so I was mistaken there. So just need to turn that thing on, and then come under here, copy this. Should be able to just go into the HTML file, and let's see if we can just paste that in, save it, and then come up over into the object storage, select our index file again, open that up, overwrite file. I need to check off overwrite file if it already exists, upload, and boom, it should be replaced. Let's go ahead and refresh the News Noah page, and boom, there it is. We have an HTML feed there. Looks super old school, but it literally took a few seconds. So the purpose of it was just to like upload some simple HTML to show you guys. Now I want to delete this HTTP here. Okay, actually, so that redirected properly to HTTPS. Let me go ahead and turn off this page rule, because I added the page rule a moment ago to just see if that would fix that previous problem. So let's come in here and try that again. Let's do HTTP. Yeah, it looks like it automatically redirected it, so that's cool. And then let's come in here and try to remove the www and see if it'll. Yeah, it's having a hard time now. So you do need to add the page rule. So go ahead and make sure that under your DNS section, you have that internal IP proxy through for the root. So you'll come in here and you'll type that @ symbol in for the root, right? Like I showed you earlier, then paste in that 192.0.2.1. That's Cloudflare internal IP. And then under rules, you'll come in and you will make a rule like this. So it'll just be your root domain / with a little star there, and then forwarding URL status code 301 permanent redirect. And then this is one where you want to type in the fully qualified URL. So HTTPS www.newsnoah or www. whatever your domain name is, then forward slash, and you want to put that money symbol and the number 1. So this is saying whatever is put at the trailing slash, we're going to copy that over to this trailing slash. The difference is we always want whatever this is to redirect to HTTPS www. That's what's going on there. So that's saved. We turn that on. And then when we come over here, and then now it's saying 522, what did you do? I'm gonna just go ahead and let's remove all this. Just newsnoah.com. Let's see where it takes us. Boom, takes us to the HTTPS version with the www. So pretty simple, right, guys? And that's really pretty much it. That is obviously a really quick explanation of how to go from, okay, you bought a domain name now. How do I host a really simple HTML website and pay fractions of pennies per month? Well, this is how you do it. You use Cloudflare to distribute your content, and then your hosting is basically just object storage with Microsoft Azure. And you can do this with Amazon Web Services and Google Cloud Services, but the difference is with Microsoft, their interface is way easier to use. It's really more intuitive for hosting static sites with that sidebar and all the right areas. Like you could see that without my talking, it literally takes just like a couple minutes or a few minutes in that interface to get things set up and ready to go. So the main thing that's going to take your time is just making sure you have an actual website to upload. So other than that, if you decide, hey, that's way too much stuff for me, Ivan, I'd rather get you to do that for me, like just contact me and take a look at my website, look at my my buy tab on my website, and see if I have a service page up for a service like this that's coming. So there should be something up like that. And you can also just contact me and, just see what I charge. I might, you never know when I'll change my prices. So I don't want to give my price right now in the video, but it's very affordable. And the difference is with what I'm going to be offering is it's fully managed. So it's a bit different than doing all this stuff yourself and, and changing everything HTML wise. So with a fully managed service, the price I'm going to be offering is going to be super, super affordable. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.